3, 5, and 6. The Planning Commission meeting is now called to order. Today is October 8th, 2025. It is approximately 6:45 p.m. We are located at the Ascension Parish Courthouse, 607 East Worthy Road, Gonzales, Louisiana, 70737. Item 2, roll call of members. All commissioners are present with the exception of Mr. Kluwat. Item 3, Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Unitas, would you lead us? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 4, introduction of staff. Ms. Stacy.
Stacy Webb, Recording Secretary for the Planning Commission.
Jarius Carey, IT.
Spencer Long, Parish Attorney.
Eric Poche, Director of Planning and Development.
Sean Chereau, Engineering Review Agency.
Lance Brock, Zoning Official.
Tim Bullion, Senior Planner.
Thank you so much. Item 5, Chairman's comments. Chairman does not have any comments tonight. Item 6, public comment on any agenda item. We welcome the public to come up and speak. If you have any comment on any agenda item, please see Ms. Stacy, fill out a card. And at the time you will be able to speak, and given your 3 minutes, please do not go over that time. We will have to cut you off, and then we'll have a great meeting. So thank you so much. Item 7, staff report. Mr. Poche.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of items. Number one will be the normal subdivision report, and then the second one is going to be a discussion about some possible code changes that we're going to bring next month. But first, you have the normal subdivision status report in front of you. Any changes have been noted. We did get one preliminary plat submittal for Harvest Fields subdivision, which is on the west side of Highway 44, about a half a mile north of Germany Road. It will probably be a couple of months before that comes to you, but I'll keep you updated on it. Does anybody have any questions about anything that's on the report?
No, sir. Does anybody on the commission?
Okay. The second thing is there are some items, some of which we have discussed previously, that we're going to bring to you next month for public hearing. Number one is to make an adjustment to the requirements for a drainage impact study on redevelopment. The second is going to be a removal of the chain link fence requirement, along with a piping specification. And also a record drawing. There are, well, a lot of the commercial projects and even some of the subdivision projects, we get record drawings, but we wanted to be more specific and have something that we could address at the end of construction before we gave final approval. So we wanted to put something in there that was a little bit more specific. The third item would be with reference to the hydraulic capacity and drainage impact study procedure to set specific limits on the distance and of the capacity on different sizes of property in different categories. And then the third one is something that had been talked about for the last several months about what to do. We had something for their submission after the preliminary plat approved. We had something for the submission of construction drawings, but we haven't had anything if somebody gets their construction drawings approved and goes ahead and starts construction. So we're looking at something that would give them a maximum time limit of 36 months after, which time they would have to come to the Planning Commission to decide and discuss and give reasons as to why not, or what have you, and you guys would have the power to approve or deny that extension. And then the last one is in reference to family partitions. A few years ago, we created a C5 or Conservation 5 zoning category. One of the big reasons that we did that was to help with our open space requirements and our FEMA flood insurance requirements. That helped get us better points and a higher rating to get a greater reduction to the insurance premiums for those that buy flood insurance. One of the things in the family partition that is there now is that anyone, regardless of zoning category, you can go down to a half of an acre lot. And what this does is it removes that conservation 5 and maintains that they have to keep 5-acre parcels. So if anybody has any discussions, questions, or anything, then let me have it.
Okay. Anyone on the commission?
Speaking on that construction thing that you were just referring to, I noticed in the subdivision report, one of them, was it Mossad Villas or whatever the name was? Isn't on there anymore. Did that one get taken off?
Mossad Villas.
It was the one off of
Yeah,
74.
no,
That was one on
that should have
74.
been on there. I go through in each line as we address them, I hide them in the
Okay.
spreadsheet, and I did that one inadvertently, but that's still there.
I know, because that's, expressly one of the ones that keeps coming up is,
Yeah.
Is it gonna get, underway?
But, no, as far as like the timeline on, actual construction, I'm very happy to finally see that we're putting that in the ordinance. It's something that has been needed, has been requested, and I'm very happy to see that move forward. So, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Item 8, engineering staff report, Mr. Sherrow.
There's no report this evening.
Okay, give you your shot. Item 9, the minutes, the approval or denial of the minutes of September 10th, 2025, Planning Commission meeting. Motion to approve by Commissioner Villa, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor? That motion passed. Item 10, consent agenda. Item A, affidavit of mortgage declaration, RBD Ascension LLC, Track B, 39120 H. Hydell Road in Gonzales, Louisiana. And in item B, affidavit of mortgage declaration, Samantha Mitchell, Tract A, 44089 Bill Richardson Road, Santa Maria, Louisiana. Motion by Commissioner Nasser for the consent agenda approval. Second by Commissioner Villa. All in favor? Aye. That motion passes. Item 11, public hearing to approve or deny the following family partitions. A.C. Rue Senior Estate, Lot 4D1 and 4D2, McLean Taylor. And Miss Allen.
Ellen Jackson with McLean Taylor Incorporated, asking for your approval. There were no comments, so.
Okay. At this time, we'd like to open a public hearing. Ms. Stacy, is anybody called to sign up to speak? No. Okay, public hearing is now closed. Any comments or questions by the commission? Motion to approve by Commissioner Villa, second by Commissioner Nasser. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion passed. Thank you. Item B, Amadei Frederick Estate, lots 9A, 9B, 10A, and 10B, Town and Country Land Surveying LLC. Has anybody, please come up to the mic.
Steve LeBlanc, the land surveyor of record.
Okay, Mr. LeBlanc. On this item, anything that we need to be addressed or anything that's come up?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this time we're going to open a public hearing. Ms. Stacy, has anybody signed up to speak?
No.
Okay, public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, any comments, questions, or motion? Motion approved by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Unitas. All in favor? Aye. That motion passed. Thank you. Item C, Robert Brock Property, Tract B1A2, B1A, B1A2, B1B, and B1A2, B2A, Earls and Associates.
Good evening. James Frauger, representing the Brock Family Living Trust on the following family partition, asking the commission for approval.
Okay. At this time, we'll open up a public hearing. Ms. Stacy, anybody sign up to speak?
No.
Okay, that public hearing is now closed. Commission, any questions, comments? Motion by Commissioner Nasser to approve, second by Commissioner Unitas. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion passed.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Item 12, ordinances, public hearing to recommend approval or denial to the Parish Council amendments to the Ascension Parish Unified Land Development Code. Okay. Let me pull everything up, please. I'll tell you later. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up the packet. Okay, item A is to amend the Ascension Parish ULDC Appendix 5 Drainage, Section 17507, Placement of Fill. The way we're going to handle this is we have the existing ordinance, and then we have on our agenda a revised suggestion. We're going to open a public hearing, discuss those changes, and then, as the commission, we would have that discussion and then make our recommendations from there. So, on this first part, I'd like to, Mr. Poche, do you have any comments about this that you would like to enlighten us on?
Basically, it is simply to, remove the X zone from the requirements, due to some, West Bank mainly, because a lot of the base flood elevations are not based on the ground elevation, they're based on a levee. So we have to issue a lot of waivers there, and it causes undue hardship sometimes for a lot of folks in the X zone with generators and things of that nature. So that's one thing to consider. We are also looking at removing the height restriction on existing and proposed residential lots, and making a revision that if you have a lot greater than half of an acre, there are certain conditions that you can meet to go above that existing 36-inch average. But if you're below half of an acre, then basically things would stay as they are now. In major minor subdivisions, there is something in there that will allow excess 36 inches as long as 110% of the fill mitigation volume or fill is mitigated in excess of what is required to meet that threshold. And then another one is where we had problems because you have a requirement that fill not be placed within 10 feet of any property line. And the problem that we were having is on commercial properties with parking areas that are engineered, as well as residential structures that may have a 5-foot side yard setback, in which case you would be required to place that fill within a chain wall or drop brick ledge, thickened footing, extended footing, whatever you might want to call it, so that any drainage that needed to be applied in that area would have to be done so that you're not shedding water directly on your neighbor. So that's really the gist of what's in this first section. I'll be happy to answer any questions or address any comments or concerns or anything like that.
Okay. At this time, does the commission have any questions for Mr. Poche? Okay. We're going to open this up to a public hearing. So this is a public hearing to discuss the amended changes for item A to the parish's ULDC Appendix 5 Drainage, Section 17507, Placement of Fill. Ms. Stacy, has anybody signed up to speak? Okay. Public hearing is now closed. Commissioners, any comments or questions?
I'm sorry, yes. We're
Mr. Nasser.
going to take each one of these highlighted recommendations individually by motion on each one, or we're going to make a motion on the entirety of what's proposed?
The motion would be on the entirety as proposed, and if you want to make changes to anything that is proposed, we would have that discussion and include that in our changes for the proposal.
Right.
So we're not gonna, for example, we're not gonna make a motion on removal of just the X zone and then the removal of any lot less than 1/2 that are highlighted in our agenda. We are making a motion on the entire agenda item, and and/or changes to that agenda item as specifically stated.
There's an item that is related to fencing. Is it in this?
No, the fencing was related to the items that were discussion. It's going to be on next month.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, sir. So do we have any discussion? At this time, well then,
So you want to make a motion on the entire 17507?
that's what we would
To
have.
include all of the highlights and changes? as
Yes.
proposed.
Yes. I do have one comment, and I do, I want to talk to you, Mr. Poche, about this. I still have an issue about the removal of X zone. I understand the reasoning behind it. I just have a little bit of a craw about it, just because I've seen what happens. We've had people who still have flooded into X zones and the such. I think that it just, I hate to say it, but I hate to take that portion out. But that's my only issue with it.
Okay?
So, but at this time, the chair would entertain any comments or a motion.
Well, to that point, the certificate of elevation is only for the field, correct? You still have to give you finished floor elevations?
Well, according to what this is, the
But you're doing
certificate of
all of them
elevation
next.
would be necessary. So in the process, in the permitting process, anytime that you were to have any type of mechanical, electrical, or plumbing, any of those lights, you have to have a certificate of elevation to determine where it needs to be placed. When you have to have a new foundation constructed, you have to have a certificate of elevation. So it is kind of and I do understand, especially on the West Bank where we have levee protections, it becomes a little bit more difficult. But on the east side where we have a lot of these, just that knowing of where this has to be built is, I hate to say it, it's needed, in my opinion. But I do understand that it becomes redundant now.
I mean, you're 2 foot above BFE is required throughout the parish, correct? So this is required.
You don't have BFE. BFE does not exist in an X zone.
Right.
So that's,
Right, so
yeah.
why, if you're not required to do it, then.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt 12A to amend the parish, or we recommend approval for adoption to the parish council for 12A, amend the Ascension Parish ULDC Appendix 5 Drainage Section 17-507 placement of fill.
As written.
My motion is to recommend approval as written.
Okay.
Of course, it's open to amendment, but that's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend approval to the council as written. Second by, motion to approve by Commissioner Nasser, second by Commissioner Miller. Do we have any discussion? Any substitute motions? Okay,
Amendment to my motion.
well, I can't make an amendment.
No, somebody else will.
Okay, well, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nay. So we have a dissenting opinion. We'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner Unitas?
We're using the machine?
No, don't worry about the machine. We're going to do a roll call vote. Commissioner Unitas is? Commissioner Villa?
Aye.
Commissioner Miller?
Yay.
Yay. Okay, Commissioner Schexnayder? Nay. Commissioner Nasser?
I'm going to say yay, like Commissioner Miller
Okay.
did.
And Commissioner Jones? Okay, that motion passes 5-1. Item B, to amend the Ascension Parish ULDC Appendix 5 Drainage, Section 17-5093, Long-Term Accountability of Mitigation Facility. Mr. Poche, can
Yes,
you
sir.
enlighten us?
There are 2 items in this section in 175093, which pertain to long-term accountability and mitigation facilities. One being the requirement that a certification be performed every 5 years on any privately owned mitigation facility. And administration thought, as do I in a lot of instances, that this places an undue burden on individuals. In the thought being that as far as code enforcement goes, we're around the parish all the time anyway. So these would be addressed as they would normally be under a code enforcement violation without having someone go to the expense of hiring an engineer and or surveyor and having them certified every 5 years. The second item is basically that the long-term accountability would be determined within 120 days of adoption of this ordinance, which was 5-6 years ago. So that's no longer necessary, so that's just going to be removed.
Okay, I got you. Okay, at this time, we'd like to open up a public hearing on this. Ms. Stacy, has anybody signed up to speak? No. Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Commission, anybody have comments or questions about this? Commissioner Miller.
I do have a question. So we're going to do away with the inspection after 5 years, but is this specifically, related to what we just went through with Pelican Point, where they had to go back and
No.
have all that checked out?
No,
The
this is
mitigation
if
ponds and-
someone applies for a field permit and they submit a field mitigation plan showing where they're creating storage on their property with either a pond or swales or something like that, and then they do it and it has to be certified before they can get their CO and finish their project. This requires that every 5 years, we've got to notify them, they've got to hire a surveyor and/or engineer to go out there and certify that everything is still the same, which assumes, number one, that somebody's going to try to break the rules, and number two, it puts an added expense on someone these properties may be sold once or twice in the interim. So somebody may do something and then sell it to somebody else, and then this fella's got to go and certify it and get bumped if he's not complied based on somebody else's actions. And that's why we thought about removing this, because if somebody does something, we've got 7 to 8 people that are probably traveling 70 to 80% of the East Bank every day. So we see things all the time, and we get calls from the public and all of that. So we feel that it can be addressed through code enforcement if necessary.
Well, I'm not in favor of that, because now you're doing away with the, say it does get sold down the road, and area was determined to be mitigation area along a bayou or whatever. Somebody buys that property, and now they're like, hey, well, I got available land right here, that why not put whatever I need to right there, and not, whether they did or didn't know that that's a mitigation area and it had to be left to remain.
When it's mainly, and I don't know, you may be on the same page, but I'm not sure. If basically this deals with, if somebody goes and they build a building pad, and they dig a pond, and then somebody comes behind them in 2 years and puts another 300 yards of dirt along that building pad and fills it up, we would address that the same way with code enforcement as we do now if somebody just does it on a vacant piece of property, is what I'm saying. So the cost to benefit ratio wasn't there from the administration standpoint, and we will be able to address this through our normal code enforcement activities, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm not in favor. I'd like it to be known that these mitigation areas, these floodplain mitigation areas, which is my understanding is what we're dealing with here, are to remain untouched. And this would continue to certify that they did in fact remain, they haven't been filled in, they haven't been raised.
Well, no, anytime, number one, anytime that somebody does that, if somebody's filling in a pond, we're gonna see it. And number two, if somebody has a mitigation facility that is not on their property, they're required to submit and record a private field mitigation servitude that says they cannot fill that in. It's enforceable, basically.
Right. And we're just gonna hope that one of our code enforcement guys catches that when they pass by.
No. Yeah.
That's my statement, okay.
Okay. Commissioner Nasser?
Okay, I'm gonna have 2 questions. But I did go through all 3 of these potential amendments, as you all know, for about the past 6 weeks. And all of my concerns were addressed, but I do have one question, and
Okay.
we're removing a requirement for fencing in this section, is fencing along the drainage servitude, is that right?
That's the thing that's up for discussion next month.
That's next month.
You jumped the gun again.
Well, okay. No, there was something in this one.
This is the reservation for mitigation. This is where we're at.
I'm sorry, I threw my copy in the trash can before I came to the meeting.
Just this part.
Oh, just this part?
That's just that.
Okay, never mind. I thought you had said it was in the second one, so I take that back.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I really don't have any question on that, but I do have a question for Nick, Mr. Miller. You said, you were expressing your opposition. Your opposition is to the entirety of this proposed amendment or any section of this proposed amendment?
We keep A in place, B can go.
Okay,
Okay. Is that it?
that's all.
For clarification, Mr. Poche and Mr. Stroh, you might have to jump in on this. My concern was for these 5-year maintenance plans, does this also incorporate issues with detention ponds and subdivisions or anything like that? Do we have some type of protection on those type of things? Let's say you have a development that is being constructed, and one of the first things they have to do is mitigate drainage, but they may take 5 years of of construction before this is final. Does that now come out with this possible change?
I mean, it only pertains to field mitigation. If you've got something that is not dealing with field mitigation, then this wouldn't be applicable to that.
Well, in a normal subdivision, they're gonna bring in fill, they're gonna mitigate it with a detention pond or retention pond, so that would be some type of
Well, the
mitigation.
detention pond is mainly for their discharge, for their excess discharge. Now, there are some subdivisions that do have field mitigation credits, and yes, those would be impacted and have to be verified.
Okay.
But if it's only dealing with detention and not mitigation, then it would not apply to those.
That was my statement, because
That's-
you're separating the two, the detention and the mitigation are two
Correct.
separate animals.
That's right,
This is
correct.
specifically dealing with the mitigation areas.
Yes.
That's why, leave this in place is my thing. Leave A, B can go. That's my, do I need
Okay.
to make a motion or?
Well, anybody else on the commission has any questions? Okay, at this time, the chair would entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to accept the agenda item B there, 17-5093, not as written.
Okay.
17-5093A is to remain, B can be removed.
Okay, we have a motion to modify item B, and the modification will be to leave item A under that
as written
as
in the
written, and maintain the removal of item B in the code. Does that follow, Ms. Stacy? Okay, that is the motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I second it.
The second by Commissioner Nasser. Okay, any discussions on this? Okay, Chair will take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Do we have any opposition? That motion passes, and that is a recommendation to the council. Item C, to amend the Ascension Parish ULDC Appendix 5 Drainage, Section 17-50100 definitions. Okay, and Mr. Poche, do you mind leading us in this?
Sure. Basically, the code and the changes that we're proposing to make goes between watersheds and drainage basins. A watershed is something that is more of a topographical feature, and a drainage basin is something, because the parish has pumping stations and systems, and there may be 20 to 25 watersheds where there are only 4 drainage basins. And so all we're doing here is defining drainage basins so that it matches the other changes that we were looking at in the code.
Okay. Commission's, any comments for Mr. Poche? Okay, this time we'd like to open up a public hearing for item C. Ms. Stacy, has anybody signed up to speak? Public hearing is now closed. Okay, commissioners, any questions, comments, or a motion? Motion to approve as written. Recommend approval to the council as written by Mr. Jones. Second by Ms. Unitas. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion passed. Item 13, adjourn. Motion by Commissioner Miller, so moved.